Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Jinger Duggar reveals kids raising kids is unhealthy as she opens up about childhood. Jinger Duggar is slowly opening up about her childhood and what she dealt with in the Duggar home. When she and her husband, Jeremy Vullo, tied the knot, they immediately moved away from Arkansas. Jinger lived with him in Texas before the couple settled on the West Coast in Los Angeles, California. The Counting on Star wrote a book detailing her journey leaving the Institute in Basic Life Principles, IBLP. Still, it didn't delve into the situation and traumas she experienced within her family. There has long been a sense that Jinger was unhappy growing up in the big house, and there was a forum dedicated to freeing her from it called Free Jinger. She even incorporated it into her book title. Now, the mom of two is opening up about some of the things that bothered her growing up and confirming that the stuff between her and her parents isn't as good as it appears to the world. Jeremy and Jinger stopped by the Unplanned podcast, where Jill Duggar and Derek Dillard also spoke out to set the record straight. Jinger Duggar talks about kids raising kids. While speaking on the Unplanned podcast, Jinger Duggar opened up about something she would change in her childhood. She said, "There were things that I definitely would have changed. The imbalances of kids raising kids is unhealthy. Kids can help out and learn responsibility in other ways." Jinger Duggar had a buddy team. There has long been speculation that Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar let the oldest four daughters do much of the caretaking for the younger children. The Counting on Mom and Dad had 19 children, and once the number of children got to be too much, they developed the buddy teams. Jana Duggar, Jill Duggar, Jessa Duggar, and Jinger Duggar were responsible for themselves and some of their siblings. Jinger's team consisted of Jedediah Duggar and Johanna Duggar. She had the smallest team because she was the fourth girl in line to get a baby. Michelle would keep the newborn with her until they were weaned, and then they would be passed to their buddy from there on out. Jinger and Jedediah are only 5 years apart, which makes things even more complex. Talking about this was a big step for Jinger because she has been so careful about what she said, trying not to rock the boat with her parents too much. Jinger Duggar Vullo, once a familiar face from the hit reality series 19 Kids and Counting, is no stranger to sharing her personal experiences growing up in a large and highly conservative family. Now, as a mother herself and an author, Jinger has opened a new chapter in her life, one that involves deep self-reflection and candid discussions about her upbringing under the strict guidance of her parents, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. In a recent interview, she opened up about a concept she now views as problematic: kids raising kids. Growing up in the Duggar family meant a life defined by unique rules and structures. With 18 siblings, Jinger's life was shaped by her family's adherence to the conservative Christian teachings of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, IBLP, founded by Bill Guthard. The Duggars subscribed to traditional gender roles and rigid expectations. The girls wore skirts, practiced modesty, and were homeschooled. But one of the most prominent aspects of the Duggar household was the buddy system. Under this system, the older children were assigned the responsibility of looking after their younger siblings. It wasn't uncommon for a 10-year-old to change diapers, feed, and discipline a toddler. At the time, this practice might have seemed like a necessity given the size of the Duggar family, but Jinger, now an adult, reflects on it differently. The weight of responsibility. In her interview, Jinger spoke with a sense of clarity and emotional nuance about the burden she carried as a child. "We were given so much responsibility at such a young age," she explained. "It wasn't just about helping out or doing chores. It was about being responsible for someone else's physical and emotional well-being, something a child is not developmentally equipped to handle." Jinger, the sixth Duggar child, admitted that while she loved her siblings and developed a strong bond with them, the pressure to serve as a second mom to her younger brothers and sisters was overwhelming. "There were times when I felt like I was in over my head," she revealed. "I wasn't a parent, but I was being asked to act like one." This sentiment is echoed by many who have grown up in large families or within similar religious contexts. When parents divide caregiving among children, it may lighten the load temporarily for the adults, but the long-term emotional toll on the children is often overlooked. Jinger noted that this practice of kids raising kids creates an unhealthy dynamic where children don't get the chance to just be kids themselves. The loss of childhood. Jinger admitted that she often felt robbed of her own childhood experiences. We weren't allowed to just be carefree, she said. There was always something to be done, always a sibling to look after. We didn't have the freedom to play like other kids. We were homeschooled, but the learning often felt secondary to the household duties. She paused for a moment before adding, in retrospect, I realized that I missed out on a lot of typical childhood experiences. We didn't have traditional schooling. We didn't have much interaction with kids outside our circle. And the idea of going to a birthday party or a sleepover was completely foreign to us. As Jinger navigates adulthood and parenthood, she acknowledges how those experiences shaped her, and not always for the better. The role she had to play as a child blurred the lines between sibling and caregiver, affecting the way she views family dynamics today. It's made me question a lot about how I want to raise my own children, she confessed. Breaking the cycle, now married to former soccer player Jeremy Vuolo and raising 2 daughters, Jinger is determined to break the cycle. She explained how her experiences growing up in the Duggar household have deeply influenced her approach to parenting. I love my parents and I know they did what they thought was best, she said. But I also know I want something different for my kids. Jinger and Jeremy have made conscious choices to ensure their daughters have more autonomy and independence than Jinger experienced. While they still maintain some of the Christian values they both hold dear, their lifestyle in Los Angeles is a far cry from the isolated, regimented life of Jinger's Arkansas childhood. The couple allows their children to wear pants, encourages creative exploration, and most importantly, ensures that their daughters aren't burdened with responsibilities beyond their years. Jinger spoke passionately about the importance of allowing children to be children. I want my girls to feel free to explore who they are without feeling weighed down by adult responsibilities. Childhood should be a time of learning, playing, and growing, not caregiving. Reassessing family structures. Beyond her personal life, Jinger's revelations have sparked a broader discussion about the structures within large religious families. The idea of older children acting as surrogate parents is not unique to the Duggars. It's a common practice in many large families, especially those within fundamentalist Christian groups. However, as Jinger's story illustrates, this model often has unseen emotional consequences. Psychologists and family therapists have long warned against burdening children with adult responsibilities too early. While learning responsibility and contributing to the family can be positive experiences, there is a line between healthy involvement and detrimental pressure. Jinger's experience suggests that crossing that line can lead to feelings of guilt, stress, and even resentment in later life. As Jinger continues to evolve in her personal journey, she is keenly aware of the challenges that come with questioning the very foundation of her upbringing. It's hard to look back and realize that something wasn't quite right, she admitted. But at the same time, I'm grateful for the clarity I have now. I can make different choices for my own family. A path forward. In reflecting on her childhood, Jinger expressed hope that her story might resonate with others who have experienced similar upbringings. She emphasized the importance of questioning and reassessing traditions that may no longer serve their intended purpose. Just because something is the way it's always been done doesn't mean it's the right way, she said. As Jinger continues to build her own life with her husband and children, she remains committed to fostering an environment of openness and learning. Her journey, though rooted in a well-known family legacy, is ultimately about growth, both as a parent and as an individual. I want my girls to grow up feeling supported, not burdened. I want them to have a childhood filled with wonder, creativity, and joy. Everything I didn't have enough of, Jinger concluded. And for me, that's what breaking the cycle is all about.